pleasant good evening to everybody out there in YouTube land. It is now time for the Scott Manning YouTube Sports Weekend Wrap-Up Show. I want to thank all of my loyal viewers for being with me here tonight. We have a lot to talk about in about the next half hour or so. I want to thank all of my loyal viewers for being with me. We have a lot to talk about. The Dodgers just swept the Mets. Are the New York Mets in a world of hurt? I say yes. The Yankees take 2-3 from the White Sox. The Cleveland Browns had a very impressive preseason debut. I have some Major League matchups in the first weekend of the college football season I want to talk to you guys about. And I also have a crazy weekend in Indianapolis that will have everybody talking for a very long time. So, we're going to get right into the show right after this.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Well, everybody, I am so glad to be with you here tonight. We're going to just jump right into the business at hand. The Los Angeles Dodgers swept the New York Mets, and it was a big sweep, too. This series had a little bit of everything. Fireworks galore, had some great games, 2 games that went into extra innings, but thankfully tonight's game did not need that, and you'll find out why here in a minute. But for the Dodgers, it was a great series. Trey Turner came over from the Nationals in that Scherzer Turner deal, and which got the Dodgers 4 prospects. He was a monster this series. 4 for 12, 5 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, a walk, but he did strike out twice. Max Muncy, he was a beast this series. 5 for 13, 5 runs, a double, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, a walk, but he did strike out twice. Cody Bellinger, he has not gotten much love this season, but I'm going to give him some love tonight. He was 3 for 13 with 2 runs. He had 2 doubles in the series, an RBI, but he did strike out 5 times. Corey Seager, he was a monster. 4 for 13, 2 runs, 2 doubles, an RBI, 2 walks, but he struck out 4 times. Max Scherzer for the Dodgers was fantastic. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, but he walked 2, but he struck out 7. Nice performance for Scherzer tonight. As for the New York Mets, they had their struggles. Brandon Nimmo, he was only 2 for 11 with 2 runs, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Michael Conforto, well, he did go 4 for 10 with 4 runs, a double, a home run, 2 RBIs, a walk, but he did strike out twice. Pete Alonso, very un-Pete Alonso-like. He was 2 for 13 with 2 runs, a double, a walk, but he did strike out 4 times. Dominic Smith, he wasn't much to brag about either. He was only 2 for 11 with a run, an RBI, a walk, but he did strike out 3 times. And Carlos Carrasco's return, oh boy, not much to brag about. He only pitched 2 innings, gave up 6 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 3, but he gave up 3 home runs. Oh my, oh my. And the New York Mets are in deep trouble. And I'll tell you why. They had 1 series against the Dodgers. And guess what? They got to face the San Francisco Giants next. And then they got to go on the road to L.A. to face the Dodgers again. The New York Mets are in a world of trouble. And everybody knows, you know it, I know it, and everybody's cousin knows it. The Mets are in a world of hurt. And I'm going to show you guys something. If I'm able to do this and show you guys this, I wrote down a sticky note showing you guys what the NL East looked like before going into the weekend and what it looks like now. I'll get to that here in a bit. But the New York Mets are in trouble. And that's all I'm going to say about the Mets at this moment. Stay tuned. I'll be talking about New York a little bit more. Well, the Dodgers got swept by the Mets, but the Yankees did take 2 of 3 from the Chicago White Sox. Now, the White Sox, grant you, won the Field of Dreams game in Iowa on a Thursday night. That was a great game. But the Yankees took the season series 5-1. These were the only 2 series that the Yankees and the White Sox were going to be looking at each other. But for the series, DJ LeMahieu, he was 4 for 12 with 3 runs, 2 doubles. He did walk 4 times and he struck out once. Brett Gardner, he was 4 for 13 with 4 runs, a double, a triple. Yes, he did have a triple in the series. A home run, an RBI, 2 walks, but he did strike out 4 times. Aaron Judge, he was 5 for 10 with 4 runs, a double, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. Woo-wee! He had a walk, but he struck out twice. He's getting much better now. Joey Gallo, he was 3 for 12 with 3 runs, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, but he struck out not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 7 times in this series. Nestor Cortez had a great game on Sunday. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, an earned run, a walk, but he struck out 7. And Rajan Odor, he had a 2-run home run on Sunday. He was only 2 for 13 with a run, that home run, 2 RBIs, but he struck out not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 6 times. Whew. Unbelievable. But as for the Chicago White Sox, it was a great series despite that. Tim Anderson, Mr. Hero in the Field of Dreams game on last Thursday night. He was 5 for 16 with a double, 3 runs, a home run on Thursday night, 4 RBIs, and he only struck out once. Jose Abreu, he was 6 for 10 with 3 runs. He had 2 doubles in the series, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 3 walks. He only struck out twice. Eloy Jimenez, this guy's getting some more love. He was 6 for 12 with 2 runs, a home run, 5 RBIs, and struck out twice. Jan Moncada, I think Jimenez is more to brag about than Moncada in this series. He was only 2 for 12 with a run, a walk, but he struck out 3 times. And on Sunday, when the White Sox needed their best, they didn't get it. Lucas Gelato, he only pitched 4 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 8, and he walked 3. The White Sox are still going to win the American League Central. Because right now, the Indians and the Tigers are fighting it out, but they're both under 500. The White Sox are the only team above 500 in the American League Central. But the New York Yankees are trying their doggonest to get into the wild card race. As it stands right now, the Oakland A's would face the Boston Red Sox in the wild card game if the playoffs were to start tomorrow. But in the National League, it would still be the Dodgers and the Padres facing off in the wild card game if the playoffs were to start tomorrow. But keep in mind, the Cincinnati Reds took 2 of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. And this is where the Post-it note comes in. I want to see if I can show you guys this. This was before the start of the weekend. Now look at it. And you're thinking, what in the world is going on here? Now, I know it may not be the world's best, but I'm doing what I can. This is to give you an idea. If you cannot see it, I'll fill you in on it. In the National League East, before the weekend, the Phillies were leading to the division by a half game over the Mets and a game over the Braves. Now that the weekend is over, the Braves have all of a sudden jumped into the lead in the National League East. They swept the Washington Nationals. Keep that in mind. And as for the Philadelphia Phillies, the Cincinnati Reds, of all teams, took 2 of 3 from the Phillies. And the Mets, they just got swept by the Dodgers. And you just heard me talk about the Mets. They got to face the Dodgers again. They got to face the San Francisco Giants twice before the end of the month. Is there cause for concern? Yes, there is. And the bottom line is this. The Braves may be in the driver's seat, despite losing Ronald Acuna Jr. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I have never seen a team like the Mets. They had about a 5-6 game lead in the National League East. Now they're fighting for their playoff lives. It's getting ridiculous. I have never seen anything like this. But I'm not just going to talk about the National League East here. But I just wanted to do that post-it note just to make sure you had a chance to understand where I'm coming from. And that's the truth of the matter. But as far as the rest of the division races go, it's very simple. The Tampa Bay Rays had their struggles this weekend, and the Boston Red Sox cashed in. They're only 3 games back of the Rays now. And the Yankees are only 5.5 back. They're fighting to get that wild card spot. In the American League Central, the White Sox still have a 10-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. I still say the White Sox clinch it by the end of the month or somewhere in September. About the early to middle of September, I should say. In the American League West, the Houston Astros have had their problems. But the Oakland A's are still 2.5 back. It's not over. The National League East, I've already discussed. In the National League Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, despite the poor batting average, are leading the National League Central. They got great pitching. But the Reds are 8 games back. It is not over for them yet. They can still get a wild card spot. But don't count the St. Louis Cardinals out either. But in the National League West, it's still the San Francisco Giants over the Dodgers. The Dodgers would still face the Padres in the wild card game if the playoffs were to start tomorrow. We're getting down the stretch, guys. We're in the middle of August. It's going to be September before you know it. And here's the deal. The playoff push has already started for a lot of teams. The playoffs are starting, and it's going to start getting crazy and crazy and crazy as we get closer to the end of the month. And you know, everybody's been saying, Scott, why do you take the MLB playoffs seriously? I say this. When you have a team that you want to see go to the playoffs and make a name for themselves and possibly win a World Series, you'll make a lot of noise about it. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. What I've seen so far has been remarkable. The Braves, the Atlanta Braves, they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. for the season. And now all of a sudden, the Atlanta Braves find themselves in first place in a hot battle in the National League East right now. The Cincinnati Reds took 2-3 from the Phillies. The Mets got swept. The Dodgers are trying to claw their way back into the National League West race, but the Giants are just too hot right now. And everybody knows it. The Boston Red Sox in the American League East, they're trying to get back into the American League East race. They're trying to get back, try to catch the Rays to get in position for a crown, or a division crown. The American League Central, the White Sox have been red hot despite losing 4 or 5. Tim Anderson's hitting 300 right now. And that's the main thing. We're in the middle of August. School starts for a lot of school kids here in about a week or so. But the truth of the matter is this. The White Sox are going to win the division. I'm going to be watching the American League West and the National League East the rest of the way. That's where it's going to get crazy. And the American League East, we may be talking about them going down the stretch. But you notice, we're talking about September. You know, I want to ask you something here. Who is ready for some good old American fashion football? We got to talk about this. We did have some great preseason action this weekend. The Cleveland Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-13. Baker Mayfield did not play. The Browns have decided they're going to rest their starters and get ready. But we did have some other Browns that did step up to the plate. Kyle Aluda, he went 19-27 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. Case Keenum, He was 12 of 17 for 115 yards. Nice night for him. Davion Davis did have 4 receptions for 66 yards, and he did have a touchdown. But the Browns defense, woo-wee. Jeremiah Osuadu-Kanana, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss. Nice night for him. Sheldon Day, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss for him. Richard LeCount III, 1 sack. And Porter Gustin, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Nice night for the Cleveland Browns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But as for the Jaguars, what can you say? C.J. Beathard, 13 of 16 for 102 yards and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. He went 6 of 9 for 71 yards. He was sacked twice in the ball game. And Tavon Austin, 4 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. That's all you can say about the Jacksonville Jaguars in their preseason opener. The NFL preseason is underway. The regular season starts very, very soon. Very, very soon. And the question is, are you ready for some football? The Sunday and Monday night parties, that's going to be fun to watch. And Justin Fields, a former quarterback out of Ohio State, he had a very impressive preseason with the Chicago Bears. He had a great opener. Keep that in mind. Now, that's the pros. I want to talk about college football. I want to talk about the college game for a few minutes. Because I have some very interesting matchups in the opening weekend of the college football season. Now, we got one on Thursday, one on Friday, a bunch on Saturday, and one on a Sunday night. Labor Day weekend is going to be crazy. That's all I'm going to say. And to be quite honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. Now, the matchups of special interest I have wrote down are as follows. Number 4, Ohio State. They go on the road to face Minnesota to open the season. That's an 8 o'clock game on Fox on a Thursday night. And that's a September 2nd game. The Buckeyes have a lot to prove after losing the national championship last year to Alabama. Can Ryan Day and Ohio State do it again? The Buckeyes have reloaded. As for P.J. Fleck and company, we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see how the Minnesota Golden Gophers can do. Can the Golden Gophers possibly win the Big Ten West? We'll have to wait and see on that. Now, the next matchup you'll be saying, Scott, we got 2 basketball schools here. Number 9, North Carolina faces Virginia Tech. That is a 6 o'clock game on a Friday night on ESPN. I will be watching that game with special interest because last year, North Carolina almost came out of nowhere and took the ACC crown. Think about that. And Virginia Tech, they have a lot to prove from last year. Can Virginia Tech knock off North Carolina in the opening weekend? We'll have to wait and see on that. But this is where it gets interesting. North Carolina is a basketball school. They are not supposed to be good at football. But don't tell that to them. Don't tell that to the people of Chapel Hill. Now, we get into the Saturday meat and potatoes of the schedule. 12 noon Saturday on Fox on September 4th. Number 15 Penn State against number 15 Wisconsin versus number 20 Penn State. And I'm going to find a song here and see if I can find the right song here because I want to play this while I talk about the Wisconsin Badgers. Excuse me for playing jump around, but I got to do it. Yeah. I just had to do that. Wisconsin, Penn State, that is going to be a great game to watch. Now, let me hit the pause button here for just a moment. I just had to play the jump around. I just had to infuriate some people. And I'm going to come up with, and that may be the way I close the show. I haven't decided yet, but that may be the way I close the show tonight. So keep that in mind. Number 15, Wisconsin. Can Wisconsin possibly take away the Big Ten West? We'll have to wait and see on that. As for number 20, Penn State, they're trying to recover from a season last year where James Franklin was pulling. If he had any hair, he would have been pulling it out. It's a miracle he didn't pull the hair out on his mustache. Let's put it that way. Now, the next game of importance will be at 3:30 on ABC Saturday, September 4th. Number 1 Alabama versus number 16 Miami. Can the Miami Hurricanes pull off the upset of the year to open the season? Keep in mind, Nick Saban, he's one of the best. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. He'll be thrown into that discussion with Dabo Swinney, and I'll get to Dabo here in a minute. As for Miami, could they possibly come out of nowhere and take the ACC crown? They almost took it away a couple years back. Now, the next game I do want to talk about. Number 17, Indiana versus number 18, Iowa. This is also a 3:30 game Saturday on the Big Ten Network, and that's on September 4th. The Indiana Hoosiers, last year, they almost shocked the world when they almost knocked off Ohio State. Can the Hoosiers do what they did? Can they do what they almost did last year? Go to the Big Ten championship game. Could they possibly do that? Last year, a lot of people are saying Indiana got ripped off. Some people in Bloomington are saying no. Can the Hoosiers do it again? Can they have another great season? Could they compete for a Big Ten championship? I mean, for a long time, they were winless. They had the best record since '88. They had a shot at going to the Rose Bowl, unfortunately, and they got that taken away from them. And we'll see how the Hoosiers do. As for the Iowa Hawkeyes, the one thing that gets me about Iowa, and a lot of people in Iowa City will agree with me as much as they don't want to, but it's going to be, I got to say it. Iowa always has a season where they have a great season, almost win the national championship, go to the Rose Bowl, and then the next season, Kirk Ferentz just feels like saying, some days it just don't pay to get out of bed. Excuse me for sounding like Foghorn Leghorn on that one, but I say, son. That's the way it is sometimes. I say, son. I'm sorry I shouldn't do that, but I needed to do that. Now, think about this one. What a way to open the season in the Big Ten. You got Ohio State, Minnesota, a Big Ten matchup to open the season, and you get a 2-for-1 deal over the weekend. Indiana, Iowa on a Saturday. Now, the next one I want to talk about is the biggie, the top 5 matchup to open the season. Number 2, Clemson. Number 5, Georgia. That's a 7:30 matchup on ABC Saturday night, September 4th. Clemson. Keep in mind, no Trevor Lawrence this time. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney says we're going to have our team ready. Georgia coach Kirby Smart. I like him because he speaks like a hillbilly. Excuse me for going hillbilly on this and impersonating him. He said, we got our team ready to go. We're going to have to see what we can do. I just hope and pray we can knock off Clemson. Now, keep in mind, Trevor Lawrence, not going to be at Clemson this time. We'll see what happens. We'll see how Clemson does, minus the longtime star. Georgia, they're trying to get back into the SEC title race. The SEC championship may be coming knocking. Last year in their bowl game, they got beat by Cincinnati, of all the teams in the world, out of the American Athletic Conference. So, the Bulldogs and the Tigers, a Saturday night, Bulldogs, Tigers, oh my. And that's all I have to say. Then finally, the main event, Sunday night, September 5th. It's a 7:30 game on ABC. Number 7 Notre Dame versus Florida State. Notre Dame last year had the wonderful opportunity to play in the ACC conference because most of the independents canceled their seasons due to COVID. Think about Notre Dame 1 year ago. Notre Dame knocked off Clemson at home. And then in the ACC title game, Clemson just ran all over them. Now, Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly said he's going to have his guys ready to go. Florida State, they have a lot to play for this time. The game is in Tallahassee. Keep that in mind. with the Florida State Seminoles, they're playing for the memory of Bobby Bowden, who just passed away just about a couple of weeks ago. Bobby Bowden was one of the greatest coaches I've ever seen play the game, ever coached the game of football. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you what, Florida State may have something. They may have the upper hand. They got the memory of Bobby Bowden to play for. Notre Dame, they're playing to have a shot at the national title. They're a top 10 team. And everybody is saying that Notre Dame is overrated. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But the bottom line is this. We'll have to wait and see how the season goes before we do anything like that. Good luck to all the games. Good luck to all teams in all these games to open the weekend of the college football season. You'll have to excuse me if I'm talking about the college game. This is the time of the year where college football becomes the main event of the sports calendar. We'll see what happens this season. All right, let's move on. The NASCAR Cup Series. With the NASCAR Cup Series and the NTT IndyCar Series were both at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. On Saturday in the IndyCar race, Will Power came home the winner. After struggling all year long, he's only like 9th or 10th in the points. But Will Power came home the winner with Roman Grosjean second. Colton Herta, nice finish for him coming home third. Alexander Rossi was fourth, and Pato O'Ward was fifth. The IndyCar race on Saturday was a great race. But the NASCAR Cup Series, oh my. The final 5 to 10 laps were the most crazy, off the wall, and it just made you want to say, what in the world am I seeing here? Here's what I mean. For most of the day, Denny Hamlin had led the race. And then all of a sudden, with 10 laps to go, there was a late race yellow. Hamlin and Chase Briscoe were battling it out. And then all of a sudden, about turn 6, part of the corner was coming up. And I mean part of the bumps. They were coming up. All of a sudden, with about 5 or 6 laps to go, Eric Jones bumped it and brought up the piece of the track. He hit the wall. And then about 2 laps later, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and about 4 or 5 other cars got involved in a crash. The splitter broke off of William Byron's car. And then on a restart, with about 2 laps to go, everybody came down for the green flag as normal. Brad Keselowski spun. And then all of a sudden, Denny Hamlin ran into the back of Chase Briscoe, and he forced Hamlin off the track. Hamlin went off. Briscoe cut the corner. He had to serve a penalty, which cost them both the race. And when it was all said and done, A.J. Allmendinger came home the winner with Ryan Blaney second, Kyle Larson third, Chase Elliott fourth, Matt DiBenedetto was fifth. You talk about a crazy race today. I mean, I was thinking 18 laps to go. Kyle Larson's leading the race. So about 2-3 seconds, I decided to take it now. Boy, that was the worst decision of my life. I saw the closing laps. I was thinking, what in the world is going on here? But I will say this. It was a great weekend at Indianapolis for NASCAR and IndyCar, and we need to thank Mr. Roger Penske for making that possible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts. This weekend in Major League Baseball, we saw another no-hitter, courtesy of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Miguel Cabrera of the Detroit Tigers is trying to hit his 500th home run. He has not done that as of yet. But I guarantee you that will happen before the end of the season. We've had about 7 or 8 no-hitters in Major League Baseball this season. But I'll say this. It was a great day. The Indians, Tristan McKenzie took a no-hitter into the 8th inning against the Tigers today in an 11-0 shutout. The Browns had a great weekend. The Indians had a so-so weekend out of the city of Cleveland. I got to be fair. I got to talk about both the Browns and the Indians. I shouldn't do that, but I just feel the need to. But I will say this, though. The football season is coming around the corner. And I know I'll be busy trying to get everything all squared away and having some great time. We're going to have a lot of great times this fall. With the push to the postseason in baseball, to the start of the season to the NFL and college football. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be a very, very busy guy all week and getting you guys ready for the show. I love working with you guys. I love spending time with you. But get ready this fall. I'm going to be a very busy man as we get closer to the start of the season. But as I leave you this day, I'm going to close the show. You've heard me play the ABC's Wide World of Sports theme. Today, in a tribute to the Big Ten and the college football season coming up, I'm going to close it out with the House of Pain song, Jump Around, which is the Wisconsin Jump Around song to start the fourth quarter out in Madison. But as I do so, I just want to thank all of you guys for being with me, and I just want to say this is Scott Manning saying good night, good luck, and thank you. I thank you so much for tuning in with me. You guys have a great week. I thank you so much, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and I thank you. Word to your moms, I came to drop bombs. I got more rhymes than the Bible's got